All right, now we get to the big Wembanyama enchilada.
Mm.
I think that's a name of a group chat I'm in. So before I take credit for that, um, let me give it to them. I'm here on the schedule. I'm trying to jump to the rodeo road trip a little bit too fast here. But let's talk about the franchise centerpiece, the future of the league, the thing that is making this 10-40 season be okay, Ethan. And obviously, there's a lot of other guys that we talked about some of the other improvements we've seen, but look at that. Is that Dwayne Johnson on like a? Do you see this ad?
Yeah.
Okay, if y'all are on podcast form, there's like Dwayne Johnson and like a slug. I don't even know how to describe this. And now I'm seeing some of the other ads on here. We're gonna go ahead and scroll down here in a second, and get to Victor's stats. But yeah, Ethan. Besides the fun ads that we just got on the screen, give me your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama's season so far.
I mean, what can you say that's bad, honestly? He's the franchise. He's averaging 20 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal, leading the league in blocks, shooting 46% from the field, only 30% from 3, but I think that's actually an improvement from what he was shooting in the French league.
Yes.
Please. So he obviously was working on that in the gym. He might be getting a little bit better of shot looks as well, but he's been everything that's been advertised, Jude. He's an unbelievable scorer. He could score from 3 different locations, mid-range, post, whatever it is. He's got an unbelievable handle. Defensively, he might be the greatest defensive prospect that we've ever seen. Like, honestly, like, he might be the greatest prospect of all time, but, like, just to, like, temper it down to,
Right.
like, defensively, he is unbelievable. I saw a stat the other day that he's already matched, if not exceeded, Rudy Gobert's block and steal totals from when he won his first DPOY, as a rookie. So, things he can improve on. Maybe a little bit tighter of a handle and just understanding his teammates a little bit better, and then that's kinda it. Get stronger, uh, but even then, he's doing pretty damn well. Like, other than Joel Embiid, no one's really gone and killed him. Like, you can't say that he's been weak.
And what was the cost now, looking back on it? Shout out to Joel. I kind of feel bad about him for that. Or
Yeah.
bad for him with the meniscus thing. That's real tough. I think there might be a chance he's still back, maybe for the playoffs. Um, Maybe I'm completely wrong on that. I've got some sort of notification that said I think that might be the case. But anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm honestly losing my train of thought because he does everything so well, and he's exactly what we hoped he would be at that number 1 pick, leading this team, and he's really gotten better as a playmaker as the season's progressed as well. He's made some unbelievable passes, both out of the post and off the dribble. In full court, he's a nightmare to stop. Just throw it up ahead. He's going to get a layup or a dunk on the other end. A lob threat, a physical presence, and just his will to win games. I know he's
Yeah.
only got 10, but he is so unbelievably competitive, and you can just see it oozing out of him. The exact personality that you want as the cornerstone of your franchise.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to any interviews about him and how, like, I mean, this kid's well, now he's officially 20. Happy birthday, Wemby. I'm behind on that. I can't believe that. I think we may have already talked about that because I'm realizing that was in January. But when you listen to some of the stuff he says, it's like he's a philosopher or something. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. What I was about to say, I was going to say he's a 19-year-old, but now I see he's 20. But still, even when he was a 19-year-old, he's like going to bed at 9, like reading before bed. Like, that sounds like my mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a OG. But he is very grounded.
Mm,
That is how I would describe it whenever it comes to his personality. And then of course on the court, which is what we're here for, I don't really have too much to criticize or add because everything that I could say has already been said by myself and other people. So really, I mean, the way that he plays in the fourth quarter, how you see that turn up, that's something that I've really noticed this season. And then whenever it comes to like, things to improve on, the only thing I can really think of is his balance, and that kind of ties in with strength. Sometimes he'll maybe get a ball, kind of at the elbow or something, and try to dribble around somebody, and he'll just kind of like fall down a little bit, like a baby giraffe or gazelle or something.
Mm,
um, and then the other thing that I would say is kind of what our man Gorilla says here. Sometimes he tries to thread the needle when the needle doesn't even exist. LOL. And I think that just kind of ties into the fact that he's the type of player he is, the generational prospect he is, his mentality, and also, the vision that he has at his height. Not everybody, can do the things that he does. And I think sometimes he tries to make plays that, other guys just aren't aren't even thinking of at the time, or aren't just able to do. But that's not necessarily his fault. He's just in his crazy uh generational body. And he wants to win, and he tries to make plays. And
yeah.
I'm not going to fault him for that. This is rookie Victor Wembanyama. He's averaging 20 and 10. He's leading the league in blocks. My most conservative take of all time, Ethan, is me being like, well, I think he can get to 2 or 3 blocks, and like being like, I don't know if I just said something too crazy. Obviously, we're seeing it. If it's at 3 right now, Ethan leading the league, I mean, imagine what it's going to be like in like 3 to 4 years, because we've already seen multiple 5 to 6 block games. And then, as you mentioned, also his playmaking over the past couple of games, and that kind of ties into the Devin thing as well. That
Yeah.
same game, yes, he only had 16, but that's because he also had 10 rebounds and 7 assists. His court vision at his height, like, I'm thinking about how that's going to progress long term, and it's just scary, man. I wish I had more. Like, we could dive into the intricacies of Victor, and I could talk about, he has these insane step backs, driving to the rim, the lobs. I mean, I could talk about all of that, but you guys already know that. You see it every time you turn it on. There's a reason why the Spurs have more national TV games than they've had in like the past 3 seasons combined this year,
Yeah.
and it's because this dude is the main event attraction.
Well said, Jude. The savior.
Yeah, I wish I had more to add or dive into, but when it comes to him, there's just
I think obviously he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year for many reasons. One, he's a rookie. He's on a losing team. Blah blah blah. Other guys are also deserving, but I think he deserves to be on an all defensive team this year.
he's
I think
leading the league in blocks,
if
dude.
he doesn't, it's a travesty. Like, I'm trying to think honestly, like, who else? Who else? Center wise,
I mean, they're probably going to throw in Rudy.
probably Rudy. Is he over JJJ? I think so.
Mm-hmm. I think so this year too.
Is he
Yeah,
over Anthony Davis? I I think so.
yeah. It'll be interesting. He's going to be on even if he's second team, I think he's going to be on a defensive team. Like, you can't lead the league in blocks as a rookie and do what he's doing and not at least get on one of those.
Gorilla, take Chet's name out of your comment right now. Don't even put his name next to Rudy and AD. Come on now. Come on now. Get out of here, Gorilla.
Chet is solid. I will give him some credit.
Good.
Chet it's but I don't think that Chet is ahead of him when it comes to defensive team conversation. But I understand that he's in the conversation. That's where I'm trying to give Gorilla credit.
I'm trying to get Drew to get toxic one of these days. I'm trying to get him.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Man.
Anyways, okay, Nick, I put this comment up from Nick earlier because I think this is a good point. He says, I mean, sometimes the needle is there. His passing execution just isn't all the way there yet. And that ties in to kind of what we were talking about, of him still being, as much as he is at a different place than a lot of these other guys we're talking about, still a 20-year-old rookie coming from the European game, having to adjust. And when some of those passes start hitting, I get what he's saying. Like, when we get the chemistry down and some of those other guys learn him more, sometimes those full court passes that he has, like, eventually in 2 to 3 years, they will start hitting, and they're going to look incredible. So I don't want to completely dismiss that. And the last thing we got to mention on Wemby here, Ethan, dude, I mean, he's what, 44 games we saw, right? Let me pull this back up again. 44 games this season. That is more than he played all of last season, not just the regular season, but also the playoffs. So the fact that he's doing this, adjusting, and you hear that knock?
Yep, I'm also doing it.
Staying healthy throughout all this as well. That was another thing. I didn't think he was going to be playing the way that he's playing. Obviously, yeah, you've had the little bit of the minutes restriction, and when I say playing the way he's playing the amount of games he's playing.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Um, at the consistency he has, and now that he's playing back to backs too, I have been very happy with how he's been able to translate, from a very different schedule to the NBA on top of having summer league and preseason.
Yeah, we were both very conservative in our preseason prediction as to how many games he would play. I can't remember the exact number, but we both
50, 60 is what I said.
yeah, I don't think we envisioned 44 at the All-Star break. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get close to 70, I feel like at least,
For sure.
barring any injuries. Like we already knocked on wood.
He's getting 65 plus because Victor Wembanyama, knock on wood, he wants that Rookie of the Year.
Oh
He
yeah.